Hi guys, and welcome back to my place of comfort, my garage. And it's the season to get out on your bikes on those trips that you have been planning all year. And this video shows my preparations, how I make sure the bike is okay for the trip. So let's say we're going at least a couple of 1,000 kilometers. And yeah, this is basically what I make sure that the bike is ready and what I bring with me to make sure that I can handle most of the problems. Yeah, come on. So first, let's make sure the bike is okay from the get-go. That means preferably a service done, or at least that you have enough mileage left until the next service and oil change and everything, so that you can complete your trip within that range. So if it's newly serviced, the T7, 10,000 kilometers is your window, and so usually not a problem. But if I'm sort of halfway through the service intervals, I change the oil before I go. That's always a good idea, just to be sure. And for tires, you want them to last your entire trip normally. So if you're going on a 10,000 kilometer trip or longer, aggressive tires like this usually don't last. You would have to plan for a tire change along your trip. Otherwise, go for a less aggressive tire and yeah, less off-roady then, I guess. So, but I like to make sure that my tires are in the best condition, preferably new. Then we have brakes. Brake pads, you need them. We have 2 discs in the front, 1 in the rear, and the rear, at least with my riding style, tends to wear faster. You want to make sure that they are also close to new if you go on a longer trip. If they're halfway worn already and you don't want to throw them away, I can bring a pair of brake pads, because it's easy to get the correct brake pads in your luggage, because they don't take any space and so on, because then you don't have to find the correct brake pads on your trip. And here in the rear we can see that I have quite a lot of meat on there, so that's good. Wheel bearings is something that I'm a bit concerned about, because I wore my original wheel bearings down until I couldn't drive anymore. It stopped me flat on the ground. And it's not the most convenient thing to change on the road and find the right bearings and everything. My bearings have lasted in average 30,000 kilometers. And if that's short lifespan, that may be due to I've been not so careful with the pressure washer and stuff like that. The original bearings that comes on the T7 have not been the greatest quality. They are not sealed and everything. So when I got new bearings for it, I chose sealed bearings. So yeah, the little bearing balls in there are covered and greased. So these have 20,000 kilometers on them now. And when you change tire, make sure to check when the wheel is off. You can check the bearings that they feel really smooth turning around, so that they don't sort of feel like gravel in there, or yeah, like so, and that it's stable and not sort of wiggling the wheel, a little click when you force it like this to the side. Tick, 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 tick. So since I really got stopped on the street by failing bearings, and on our Balkan trip, we also had a bike breaking down because of bearings and so on. So yeah, I take a bit of extra precaution with that. Chain, mine have lasted about 25,000 kilometers before I changed them. And it was actually quite early. I could have ridden longer. But yeah, make sure that the chain and the drive kit is in good shape. A good way to test this is to pull the chain out. And if you can't really pull it out so much that you can see some air in between there. A bad chain you would be able to, or bad drive kit, because it's all wearing together, the chain and the sprocket and everything. If you can pull it out and get some air in between there, and even see the gaps between two of the sprockets, then you really need to change the chain. But this is in good shape. Let's take the saddle off. So first thing inside, I check air filter. If you've been riding a lot of gravel and dust and so on, just make sure it's clean. This is the Throttle Punk's air filter with this is everything you can put, but it's modular. So make sure, the foam filter here, the pre-filter is okay, and everything is clean. Let's leave it out. And I also have a C-Tech connector to the battery, good for charging. If you leave this outside, it's flashing. People think it's an alarm actually. But I use this to charge my bike, but also because I have a cabled compressor to inflate tires and stuff like that. So in my eyes, this bike is adventure ready. But now let's look at the tools and things I bring with me to take care of any problems that may arise, whatever it is, mainly flats. So let's check that out. So what do I bring with me on the bike? So let's say we have a flat that we need to fix. So let's take that chronologically. First of all, we need to park the bike and put it up on a stand. So I have Rolling Maverick's little mini trail stand. Super small, light, convenient, and so I bring that. So bike is up. Let's take the rear wheel off. I need a 27 socket. And for front, I need a 19 millimeter hex thing here. So if I go in a group with multiple people, we don't need to bring all the tools for all the bikes. But in that case, I bring a real wrench like this, because then the other guys only need to bring whatever little piece or socket that they want. And if I'm alone, I bring this little multi-tool thing from Rally Raid products. Front 19, rear, and the 10 there, so that could be useful. Wheel is off. I need to take the stem valve out. I have that in my toolkit here with a lot of extra little stuff. We'll get to that. But 2 tire levers. I use this in the garage and on the road. Really small and nice. Like small things and use and work with them, so I can also bring them and be used to them. So the tire is off. I usually bring a tube. I only bring a 21-inch tube that works for the front and the rear in emergency cases. We did that in the rear with the 21st and rode 1,500 kilometers with the 21 in the rear, not really noticing any big difference until we got another nail in it, like so. So those are the big things. Oh yeah, I also, because they are light and take no place, I bring gloves. It's nice to wear it when you work on the bike. Yeah, new tube is in and we need to inflate it. I have this Rocky Creek Designs compressor, again with the C-Tech, so I can use that on the bike from the battery with the engine on the bike. There are some small convenient battery-driven compressors now. Tried them also, really good, but I have this and it works. So the bulkiest things are to fix a flat on a tubed bike like the T7. With a tubeless tire, you just bring the little repair kit and that's it. Then I also bring my little organizer. This is Lyndon Posket's little organizer thing where I bring my small tools. So we can just have a look at that. So my most important part. If I don't bring anything else, this is the one, because I can take my bike apart with this mainly. Because I have 8 to 13 millimeter sockets, I have the hex stuff and Torx and everything. Really useful little tool. Rolling Mavericks. Of course, the duct tape, zip ties. Here I have electrical cables, mainly to help Buddy's bike start. So I can start mine and we can get his bike going, or someone else. Cable cutter. I do bring patches for the tire. If I have one tube and I get 3 flats, then I can mend the other tube with that, because also it takes not much space. A little tire or tube valve tool, which is convenient. I have a few fuses, otherwise just a few keys here. So that's basically it. Sometimes you bring stuff just because it happened to you before, and this is a fork seal cleaning tool to if you got a leaking fork. So yeah, that's convenient to have also, so you can stop the oil from leaking from your fork. You can also make these yourselves on the route with a drinking bottle or something. Also, I forgot to mention, on the T7 we have cabled clutch and also the throttle if it's pre-2025. At 80,000 kilometers, my clutch cable popped. I had just previously bought a new clutch cable in case of that would happen, and I pre-routed it already. So I had 2 clutch wires, one connected and one just hanging there. And that saved me at that time. It was a 5-minute job and I was riding again. Yeah, so take your new extra clutch cable, looks exactly like this. And this is actually my new one. So just look at where it's routed, route the new one exactly the same way. So now you have 2 of these. And I just had some zip ties and tape to make it stick there. And also up on the handlebar. But now let's get some tools and stuff into the bike, because you don't want everything in your luggage, because yeah, you only need it if it happens, and then yeah, wherever it's tucked. So this is what I do. Since I have the rally saddle, there's a lot of space here, so I use this little area, and also down here in the bike I put some stuff. So I start by prepping this. You actually have these rubber straps here. So I put the tube, the levers, just make them take as least space as possible. And the working gloves I put there also. So there it is. I take the compressor in a little plastic bag, squeeze it down here. Trail jack, there's a lot of hollow space in here where you can push things in. And also even this little tire tool I can fit in here somehow, like that. We push this down that it fits into everything. You may have to give that a try a few times. And now we only have this little packet that, yeah, with the extra tools and bits and bobs, and I put that in my luggage or somewhere, or backpack. So, yeah. So, bike is ready to go, and I have the tools to fix most things that could happen. Just look around your bike. If you have a different bike, see if there are some clever places where you can store stuff like tire levers and tubes, and You can look around the windscreen, the fairings, in the bash plate and stuff like that, and keep stuff that you won't use that much, so you don't have to carry it on your luggage all the time. So, do you do anything different? Do you have some clever tips on how to do this and be more secure or smart or whatever? Leave them in the comments. If you don't subscribe, please do that. Aiming for the stars, so help me out with that. Like the video, and most of all, enjoy your trips. Come over to Sweden and ride the gravel. Check out my little guide how to do that, and safe travels, and be careful out there. And it's a wrap. It's Friday today. I wonder what beer I'll have.